Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. And I'm sorry I changed the time of this live. I was going to do it at 9 o'clock Spanish time. But then I ended up bringing it forward an hour because I suddenly realised tomorrow I've got to be up quite early because I'm going to interpret for someone. And I thought, oh my God, also I've got some shopping being delivered at between 7 and 8. And I thought, oh my God, if I do this, there's so much to talk about. I just thought if I do this at 9, start at 9 Spanish time, it might be 12 o'clock before I'm finishing. And it's too late because then I've got to wind down, go to bed, etc. So I brought it forward an hour. So I'm sorry because initially I did say it would start an hour later, which has probably confused everybody. Anyway, I'll just say hello to who's here first of all, because as I say, there's probably a lot of you confused and haven't got here yet. Now, I want to say a special hello to Michelle, who won't be here because she's not a member. But Michelle has become a subscriber because of the Samantha Murphy case. And she lives in New Zealand. And her sister lives in the same area as Samantha in Ballarat. So she's given me quite a bit of information. I mean, it's hearsay, but you know, it's local information. So she'd come on and look and said, I've got a bit more info I'll share during the live. Unfortunately, she can't join this live because it's members only unless she joins, but I'm sure she'll be back on another live. Anyway, so let's have a look at some of the things that I've seen about Samantha that you might not have seen already. As I say, it's not really news in the sense of, or new news, or in the sense of we don't know anymore because the police haven't officially shared anything, but I'm just sharing things that people have sent me or things that you might find interesting that we haven't looked at already. So one of the articles that somebody sent me was that, win a luxury week in Melbourne. I'd like to do that. A professional mine explorer fears that Samantha Murphy searchers may not have looked in old mines. Now, Saturday, there's a massive search going to happen. The community have got together and planned a big search because the police have stopped searching the local area, which tells me that if they've stopped searching the local area, they feel, for whatever other investigations and information that they know, they feel that Samantha is not in that area, because they've also said to everybody else, you know, fill your boots, basically. If you want to search it, you search it, but we're scaling down the search. So this mine explorer fears that Samantha Murphy searchers may not have looked in old mines. So there's a lot of gold mines, old gold mines in the area.
You know,
let's have a look. Oh, this
people
is
just don't vanish into thin air. Someone's got to know something, you know, whether it be any little thing. People just don't.
So this is Mick, her husband, making his appeal.
Don't vanish into thin air. Someone's got to know something, you know, whether it be any little thing that you might think's relevant. Just call the police, let them know things relevant.
I just want to go back to this picture. Her eyes there, she does look quite panicked to me, quite panicked and sad. Let me know what you think.
Call the police, let them know if it be any little thing that you might think's relevant. Just call the police, let them know, you know.
that we've really got no leads. We don't have any new developments. Certainly unusual when we haven't been able to locate any trace of her or any other evidence within that period of time.
Mum's a really strong woman and she's far too determined to give up this fight. I know she's out there somewhere, so if you could please continue to search for her, to give us something to work with, we'd really appreciate it. Mum, we love you so much and we miss you and we need you at home with us. Please come home soon. I can't wait to see you.
You know, that girl is so upset. You can just, she wants a mum. She wants a mum back. And, you know, I don't know if Mick has had anything to do with this or not, but anyone who's taken this girl's mum away from him, they are a complete twonk.
And to give you the biggest hug when I do, and to tell you off for giving us so much stress. I love you. Thank you all for our time.
Yeah. So, you know, there's more to this. Hang on. Right, I don't want to watch it again. What I want is to go back to the original article. Okay. No.
Now, let's go to this missing persons case that is fascinating and troubling the whole country. 51-year-old mother of three, Samantha Murphy, hasn't been seen since she left her Ballarat home for a jog 8 days ago. Dozens of volunteers continue to search for the missing mother, despite police suspending their foot search. Let's bring in forensic psychologist Tim Watson-Munro. Thanks for joining us, Tim. Really would appreciate your insights. Of course, police are dealing with missing persons cases all the time. What is it about this case that makes it so troubling and so mysterious?
There's no evidence, Chris. She's literally vanished off the face of the earth. There's no clues at all. The police have wound back their search in the forest. They're relying on CCTV footage if it exists, video cameras from cars and so on. But I've never encountered a case like this where someone ostensibly goes for a run and they're never seen again. It's very unusual.
Well, police would be looking at all sorts of options, so they would know if they thought there was a possibility, a reason for her to run away, to disappear herself, if you like, or if anybody was out to get her. And there's been no indication of either of those. So what do you, as a forensic expert, as an analyst of these events, what do you think could have transpired here?
Well, I think that's correct, Chris. The family life seems to be happy. We saw harrowing footage the other day of a daughter who is in deep distress with her father. Look, there's a number of possibilities. One of them is that she'd been stalked for a while. I've done a lot of profiling. Stalkers love routine of their potential victims, so that they'll watch what their movements are, their activities and their routine. And that's one possible explanation. If you went for a run and she was abducted in a van or a car and taken away from the potential crime scene. So that's certainly one strong possibility I would suggest.
Yeah, that's a horrific scenario, Tim, but if that were the case...
Now, I think the general feeling apparently is that the police currently feel she is not in that area anymore. That is what some, again, it's hearsay, what some source said, that the police do not think she is in that area anymore. So she's been taken away. And I think that'll be because of the phone pinging. When that phone pinged, because her phone pinged later on that day around 5 o'clock in the evening. So imagine she's gone missing at 7 o'clock in the morning, or I don't know when she was supposed to come back at 8 or 9. And her phone did not ping. It's pinged once and she disappeared. And that was in the evening at 5. So the police obviously feel, and don't forget they've got the Apple Watch as well, and whatever technology is on that. The police obviously feel she's not in that area anymore.
Case, if something as sinister and as pre-planned as that occurred, of course, searching in the immediate area isn't going to help.
Well, that's right, Chris, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why the police have wound back the physical search in the area. I gather that there was a ping from her mobile phone some distance away, and then it died out. So obviously a phone was either thrown away as a decoy, or she made it that far and then the phone died out. But the fact that there's no evidence, there's no witnesses, if you follow that line of inquiry.
A decoy, we've heard that before, isn't it? Was her phone thrown away as a decoy? Now, bear in mind, they have not found her phone. They've just got the ping, but they have not found her phone.
Inquiry, then you're dealing with a fairly calculating, intelligent person who understands forensic procedures and somebody who knows a lot about evidence and covering their tracks.
Terribly
if they're
troubling.
that clever and psychopathic, it's a problem. Yeah.
Yeah, it's terribly worrying, that sort of worst case scenario. Thanks so much for joining us, Tim. Appreciate it. Tim Watson Munro there, who's a forensic psychologist. If you know anything about this, of course, it goes without saying, contact the Victoria Police. We'll keep you updated with whatever the police are able to uncover on this horrible case, disturbing case.
Okay. So I did want to. I can't get back onto the. Hang on. Yes, there's a lot of Taylor Swift keeps popping up because
Melbourne, you're the love of my life.
She was in Victoria, Melbourne, anyway. Okay, so the original story here is that a professional explorer of abandoned mines has claimed that those searching for missing mum Samantha Murphy may have failed to properly look in some of the many mine shafts in the areas, which he believes are one of the most obvious places she could be. Now, I don't know if this big search that they're going to do at the weekend, are they going to look in the mine shafts? So, despite the area being littered with abandoned mines, Raymond Ramo Shaw, the founder of the Victorian Historical Mineshaft Chasers, has said there's little to no sign that many of the shafts have been searched. So, mine chasers regularly head underground to map all mine shafts and document what's down there. And Mr. Shaw has said he has explored more than 1,000 mines. Well, he said he and his wife travelled from Melbourne to the area last week to check some 40 mine shafts to see if there were signs of Miss Murphy. Ms. Murphy again. Seen it's always Ms. Murphy. Is that common? For those of you that are in Australia, I know some of the people that are watching here tonight, like you, Kelly, is that usual to refer to Ms.? Should we be reading anything into that? Or why they keep saying Ms. Murphy? You know, why not Samantha or Mrs. Murphy? Or even Murphy, because a lot of the mainstream media are so disrespectful, they quite often use the surnames. But I've noticed, yeah, it's true that with Samantha, they're often using the Ms. Anyway, there was no disturbance on the surface from emergency services looking for any items that belonged to the missing person in question. There was no signs of any bushes being moved. He said the shafts can often be hidden by foliage, logs or soil, and they were hard to find. To the untrained eye in a mining district, the common man would walk on by. So apparently there was some rogue weirdo in the area. Mr. Shaw says he has met people who have made their homes in abandoned mine tunnels. Gosh, imagine making your home there. And that a person could have attacked Miss Murphy. He described them as weirdos who are nice generally, but they will defend themselves though. You know, God, imagine people living in those mine shafts. Anyway, on Sunday, Miss Murphy's husband Michael told 7 News the family were doing the best they can under the circumstances. We want Sam home, please, he added. And she would never switch that phone off, the family said. Okay, so we won't go through the other. Here's Mick talking to this policeman. I wonder if this is his family liaison officer, because you quite often see him with that policeman, or if he knows him. Anyway, so that's one thing I wanted to show you. Let's put that one down. So I just wanted to show you that anyway. So I'm presuming this was their property. I don't know, but what do you think? Do they have guns in Australia? Do you have guns in Australia? For those of you who are, I've got a couple of people on here. Kelly. Oh, Kelly said they closed the road off last night to let an echidna cross. That's like a big hedgehog, isn't it? An echidna. Is land cheap? Yeah, is land cheap? And do you all have guns in Australia? I didn't know you had guns in Australia. Maybe you do. But even if I had a gun, I still won't feel safe there, to be honest, I don't think. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that. So that's another thing that I wanted to show you. Let me put some windows down. Yeah. So that was Samantha's Facebook. So you can see she's very, centered around her children. In my opinion, there's no way that she would leave her children voluntarily. You get some people on saying, oh, she must have had somebody else, or no. Even if she had somebody else, she isn't going to go away and leave these children voluntarily. You can just see that. So I just don't believe that for a minute. Samantha, like Anna, has been taken away, or fallen somewhere or whatever, but she has not disappeared out of her children. In my opinion, she has not disappeared out of her children's life through choice. I just don't believe it. Do any of you believe that? I mean, she hasn't. If she can't be at home with her children, if she can't be at home with her children, it's because she can't be there, not because she doesn't want to be there. So no, Mariah lives in Australia and she says they don't have guns, David. So even in Spain, people have guns if they live on farms and things maybe, but you still, you have to get a license and this, that, and that. It's not like America. Anyway. Okay, what else have I got to show you about Samantha? So, oh God, I think I might put... Let's have a look. Oh, so this weekend, I want to talk to you about this big search that the community is doing this weekend, and we're going to have a look at a video on that. So they're bringing in this bush tracker, this guy who was helped in the search for William Tyrrell, the little boy in the Spider-Man suit that went missing, but he still hasn't been found. I did do a video about him. It's in my, in my videos somewhere. I did do a video about him. He unfortunately was not found, but this guy is a bush tracker. We had a little look at a video about him last night. Let's have a look at a bit more.
A bush tracking expert who was involved in the William Tyrrell case has been called in to help look for missing Ballarat mum Samantha Murphy. He claims he's already passed on some evidence to police ahead of a massive community search for the 51-year-old this weekend.
It has been 18 days since Samantha Murphy left her home in Ballarat East to go jogging and vanished. Bush tracking expert Jake Casa has flown in from New South Wales to help and claims he's already found items of interest.
We've found some things already, which I'm not willing to disclose, but they've been given to the police.
He was also involved in the search effort for William Tyrrell in 2014.
It's certainly not just tracks you're looking for. You're activating all of your senses and you're looking for. You're activating all of your senses.
So involved in the search effort for William Tyrrell in
I just wanted to say about this because it made me go a little bit cold when we saw the picture of Cielo, the little 2-year-old who's gone missing in Leicester, who fell into the river. He had a little Spider-Man suit on, just like that. And this boy, William Tyrrell, he's known as the boy in the Spider-Man suit. And without going into the whole details, because you'd have to, I've done a video about him. It's a long story. But basically, he disappeared, and there are some people think his mum knows what happened to him, that he had an accident and she covered it up. And there are other people that think that, no, he ran out, as toddlers do, ran out and was taken. Somebody just happened to be passing in a car, got him, took him. Because he's never been found. So his body has never been found, bless him. Which, it's unlikely that he's still alive, but he could be still alive somewhere, because if he'd been abducted, it has happened. People get abducted and then you don't find out till years later that actually they are still alive. So it does happen. I'm not saying that's what's happened in this case, and it's very rare for it to happen. So there's sort of like a split sort of opinion about what happened to William Tyrrell. Did his mum have something to do with it? Was it because, he had an accident and she covered it up? Or is it that he was abducted, as she says he was? So we don't know, but it did make, seeing that little picture of Cielo, the little boy who went into the river, he's got exactly the same suit on. And William was always known as the boy in the Spider-Man suit. He's still known as that today. So it made me go a little bit cold, that.
2014.
It's certainly not just tracks you're looking for. You're activating all of your senses and doing your best to try and find any evidence you can.
He spent his time in Ballarat educating volunteers on what to look for ahead of a huge community search planned for this weekend.
I'm going to be searching some of what most people consider to be impenetrable bushland, and I'm going to be like a staffy with a bone, like a dog with a bone, over the next couple of days.
Samantha's husband, Michael Murphy, told 10 News First, "I'm just so appreciative of the work and the public support that's going in to try and find Sam, and I hope the tracker can find something out the bush to help us with Sam's disappearance." Victoria Police has brought in extra officers from its Crime Command and counter-terrorism units to boost the investigation, while on the ground local community members are calling for more volunteers to help with the search.
A lot of us are mothers, and when we saw Sam on the news, we all just said we can't give up.
A community determined to find answers to a disappearance which has...
So this apparently is going to be a massive search at the weekend. This is that picture again. Does she look panicky in her eyes, or am I imagining it? She looks a little bit sort of panicky, but you can read things into, things that aren't there. But to me, I don't know, she just, in that picture, she looks a little bit panicky. But anyway, there's going to be this massive search this weekend. So it'd be interesting to see if they do end up finding anything.
It's baffled the nation. Abby Denham for 10 News First.
Okay. I think that might be Is that the last thing I've got to look? Oh, there's one more thing I want to show you. Now, this was advertised as a major development in the case of missing Ballarat mother, which of course it's not a major development. You know, they say things like this, major update, major development. It's not a major development, but it's a video that we haven't seen yet, basically. So let's hope, you know, at the end of the day, we're just sort of taking in whatever information we can and hoping that some of it ends up leading to something. Let's have a look.
All right, more than a dozen specialist detectives have been assigned to the Samantha Murphy mystery, 18 days after the Melbourne mum vanished while going for a run. Criminologist Samantha Murphy has been following the case from the Sunshine Coast. Xanthi, the search was scaled back. Specialist detectives have been brought in now. It's just a bit confusing, isn't it? Can you explain why everything wasn't thrown at this earlier?
So the scale of the forest has been searched back, the physical scale, but the investigation is still obviously...
So this lady, Samantha Murphy, I think she's English because she has an English accent, I think, or a British accent, not an Australian accent. But she is a criminologist from the University of Newcastle.
They're very much ongoing, and the new officers, the 18 officers that have been brought in across a number of squads, have been done so because of their experience in ongoing and protracted investigations. So certainly I would say the police are throwing everything that they can at this. It's just that physical search because they don't believe she's still in the forest area.
So how did these specialist detectives work? What moves will they be making?
Well, they're really still trying to build a picture of exactly what happened leading up to Samantha's disappearance, because we know very little of what happened afterwards. So they are going back through weeks, months of information, trying to really see who may have come into contact with Samantha, where she may have been. So it's really that very detailed picture, and a lot of information has been provided by the public. So they're wading through all of that to see what is useful in the investigation.
So many people around Australia following this case and wishing and hoping for breakthroughs. There is really no witness accounts that we know of, or CCTV or dash cam footage. Is that evidence out there? We just don't know about it, or do we not know anything at this point?
We just don't know anything at this point, and that is really quite remarkable. It's very difficult for somebody to vanish, as Samantha has, and leave no electronic footprint in terms of that CCTV, etc., given the world in which we live where it's so common now. So that is really very unusual. Any information would probably have come to light now, but obviously the police are not giving up, and they're still hopeful that somebody will have something that can help them figure out what happened to Samantha when she left that forest. They do believe she made it to the forest. What happened after that is the big question.
It's so...
Now, this is something that they've started saying lately, which they weren't saying in the beginning, is that it seems that she made it to the forest. Now, why do they think that? Why do they think that she made it to the forest? Was she seen? We haven't been told that she was seen. But they didn't say this in the beginning, definitely not. You know, they released a couple of CCTV images that turned out to be not Samantha. Somebody else came forward and said it was them. But now suddenly on everything that I see, they're saying, oh, it seems like she did make it to the forest. But have the police actually come out and said that? I don't know. But so she made it to the forest, according to them. So did she go for the run and come home? Or did she never come home? Was she seen coming back?
Incredibly tough on her loved ones. Do we know how they're doing?
Well, the family will be doing it very tough. They have made a number of statements in the media responding to questions from reporters. So obviously 18 days will feel like an eternity to them, but I haven't given up hope. Cleo Smith was recovered after 18 days in WA, if you remember, at the end of 2021. So I haven't given up hope yet until there's proof.
So Cleo Smith is this little girl that was kidnapped from a camping site, I think a campsite. And, you know, initially people thought the parents had something to do with it because she did. Anyway, after 18 days, she was found. she was found and she was alive. You know, it was fantastic because people had given up hope that she would ever be found. But of course, we have gone past 18 days now, but she's right to mention that. And that was another case where it felt like, you know, the police weren't doing anything. It had all gone quiet. And then suddenly she was found.
Otherwise, then I remain hopeful that Samantha will be found alive.
Santhi, thank you. The case of missing Victorian mum Samantha Murphy is now being assigned to a dozen specialist detectives. Let's go to Today Melbourne reporter Etten Woolley for more. Etten, good morning. This is a major expansion, isn't it?
That's right, Brooke. Victoria Police again ramping up their search for mother of three Samantha Murphy, making this case their top priority. Detectives have been pulled in for a number of specialist units, including fraud, counter-terrorism, sex crimes and armed robbery, not necessarily because of specific links to any of those units, but more so because those detectives are, I guess, experienced in these types of cases, these protracted cases, of which this certainly is already. It was on February 4 now that Samantha Murphy went missing. Police believe she did make it to the forested area of her normal jogging path, but there has been such limited information since then, despite a quite extensive search. Little to no CCTV or witness accounts. Suspicious or foul play absolutely not ruled out at this stage.
Okay, thanks, Etten.
Okay, so there you go. That's about as much as we know at the moment, which is not much more than we knew yesterday or last week or the week before, but maybe the search will bring something up this weekend. Something that Maggie is saying, was saying, let's say, for example, maybe she tripped up, knocked herself out. Maybe then she was lay there that long that unfortunately she did decease. And if animals, so you were talking about wild animals, and as David said, quite rightly, they would not eat her clothes. There would have been something left. But, you know, sometimes animals do drag, I don't know what animals are out there, but if they dragged her away, you know, to their lair or what, you know, these are horrible things to think about, but they're all possibilities. It does happen. And that's why sometimes when victims are found years later, they are scattered because their bones are scattered, because animals will take them off into their lair, or, you know, it's a horrible thought, but it's just the way it is. So yeah, there will be clothes somewhere, but it's just, where will they be? What if you know, a person can be taken off into a cave or into one of those mine shafts, or, oh my God, you know, it's just. But I still think it's strange that the police just stopped searching, because I don't believe they would have stopped searching that area unless for some reason, which only known to them, they believed she was not in that area. Because if they believed she was, or she possibly was still in that area, they would never have scaled down that search, I don't think. So they scaled it down for a reason. And the reason may be that they know something else, but who knows? Yeah. So that's it. So yeah, I know we don't know much more, as you know. I'm always looking for information, not only about Samantha, but Anna, and then with Rachel Marin, it's more about catching the killer, isn't it? God, the day that guy gets finally caught, I will be having a big glass of wine that night. I mean, I'm off the wine at the moment, but I'll definitely be going back to it for that night. And it's true, if we didn't laugh, we'd cry. So, you know, as long as we're respectful, I mean, we don't laugh at the people that are involved and the victims, etc. But sometimes circumstances, if you did not laugh, you would cry. So you have to find a bit of humour sometimes. Black humour, you know, that's what keeps people going through horrible jobs that they do. Undertakers, you know, I'm sure coroners and things like that. Anyone who's involved in anything like that, they have their black humour, you know. That's how you get through things, isn't it? Because someone's got to do these horrible things. Horrible jobs, if you like. And I was thinking about that, you know, it's just, you know, when you're searching for a body, your best case scenario is that you're going to find a body, you know, so it's not as if you're going to find something. You want to find a body because that will bring some closure to the family, but it's still not, it's not exactly, you know, good, is it? It's not exactly something to look forward to. I'm going, and thank you so much. Thank you to all of you that are on here that are members. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Amethyst, for saying that. That's very nice of you to say that. And I love you all as well, because you're all what keep me going, keep me doing it when sometimes I get fed up. But I'll tell you, these, I'm not, you know, until I find out what's happened to Anna, until I find out what's happened to Samantha, and until Rachel Marin's killer is found, I will be covering those cases. And for those of you, I know there's a lot of you that's still interested in the Nicola Bully case, and I have not forgotten about that. I'm just, there's a few things that I've got going on with it. And as I say, I'm going to do this docu-series. I've got a few things going on, but anyway, that will come in time. So, night-night, hasta mañana. See you tomorrow. Take care. Remember to live and love carefully and wisely, especially love you goats. Well, not too much, but I bet them goats are hilarious, Jim. I bet they're hilarious. And spoil yourselves. I'm going out for lunch tomorrow. I'm going to spoil myself tomorrow. I think Friday's going to become lunch out day. But thank you. Take care. And if I hear anything, I'll be on to tell you about it. And until I see you again, may your God go with you. And thank you all for being members of my channel. Thank you. Bye.